listening to Hey, Me No Mine with show host Wood.
What's going on, team? This is your man Wood. Happy to be with y'all on another episode of Pay Me No Mind. This is actually the kickoff of a new series I want to do. One I want to try to keep on a little regularly. I think I'm going to coin it the Pay Me No Mind Audible or Audible Plays, something. I got to play with it a little bit. I've only been messing around with that a couple hours now, but basically it's continuing into my discussions on music. You heard the other last episode, a couple of episodes back, with my man at Kill, K-I-L. We talked about some hip-hop. That show did pretty well, but near and dear to my heart is the genre of R&B. So me and my partner Rashid are gonna get into that tonight. So I have him coming on. We're gonna get into a little game at the end, see if he can guess some R&B lyrics from some different, couple different artists, and we just chop it up for a little bit about the state of affairs in that industry or in that genre. So also, just to tie in the sports, tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, PBC makes another appearance on ESPN, and that's matching up Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Maris, a pair of 126-pound guys. I'm going with Santa Cruz for a knockout in about the 8th or 9th round. Mares has been at 126 a little bit longer. I just like Leo. He throws punches a little better. Punches in bunches, a little more of a pressure guy, action, power in both hands. I've seen him get a knockout with his with left and right. So that's who I'm going with. He also has a little bit of size. I think he has almost 3 inches on, even though he's coming up. This is only his second fight, I believe, at 126. Either way, I would love for it to be a decision. I would love for it to be, 12 rounds and a decision. But I don't know. That Gonzalez knockdown of Abner is still pretty fresh in my mind. And yeah, I'm going with Santa Cruz for the win. I believe that'll be the first fight in the Staples Center in quite a while. So I'm grateful to see that ESPN is doing some pretty good promotion of the fight. I've seen that on the last couple days, pretty steady doses of that. So it's good to see that they've stepped up their promotion of the fight from the Friday night program that they ran for so many years. So I haven't seen Teddy Atlas break the fight down, but there are different sources out there for you to get some fight breakdown, to get some professional opinions, I guess. But remember, I got Santa Cruz by the 8th or 9th round. Abner is 29-1-1, and Santa Cruz is 30-0-1 with 1 decision on his record, 17 knockouts for Leo. So we'll see what happens. I would have liked to do a boxing barrage for it, but this is kind of what featherweights or lightweights, junior lightweights or something. I'm looking at the PBC page right now, and they don't have the weight class put up here, so forgive me. Before I get into this interview with Rashid, man, NFL. Oh, Michigan kicks off the University of Michigan. My Wolverines, they kick off the college football season this upcoming Thursday. So I got a big-time Blue fan coming on, hopefully tomorrow or Sunday. Try to get that up before the Utah game goes down. Is that Utah State? I want to say it's Utah. Anyways, I'm kind of down on them right now, even though we have Harbaugh back at the helm. We'll get to the bigger discussion in due time, but it's a big season, and also it just marks that football has fully returned. This week we get into the 3rd week of our preseason football, and then next week will be the 4th season. So everything will be ramping up here pretty shortly. I actually was supposed to get into a fantasy football league, my first ever, tonight, And instead, I did my interview with my guest. And I had to push that back one more year unless I jump into the FanDuel game or something, which would make sense being that I don't have any experience with it. But anyway, before I get into the R&B discussion, I'm gonna try to keep this brief about my Washington Redskins, but I'm no longer in denial. And I ask any of the men out, women too, fans of professional teams, is it possible? Can you really just get to a certain age and just say the hell with it? I've been dedicated. I've been, an ardent fan, and I'm just tired of the BS, and I'm moving on and just pick a new team. I mean, could you do that? Because I'm almost there. I will say that I think the only way that I could really do it, officially do it, was I'm here in Dayton, Ohio. I'm about 90 minutes away from the front door of Lucas Oil Stadium. And it's like if I ever relocated to Indianapolis, I really feel like I could just assimilate, myself into the Colts, following. Like I could just move over there, unpack my stuff, get situated, hang a Colts flag, and just go to the next game with my Dickerson jersey on, or my Falk jersey, or Marvin Harrison or something. But yeah, I really feel like that's the only way I could do it, is if I move to a city and they have a franchise. And then I could kind of just part ways with the Redskins. But I'm no longer in denial, man. We just might be the most dysfunctional, just garbage team. I mean, this team, I don't want to be insensitive to anybody because I know it's a lot of plane crashes, train crashes, and other things going on in the world right now. But the team is an absolute wreckage site. Yesterday, I believe Junior Gillette ruptured his Achilles at one of his first practices as a Redskin. He's gone already. So now Preston Smith and Trent Murphy are, looking next man up. That's what the team should just be at this point, is the Washington next men up. I mean, it's that bad. RG3 and his woes, he was concussed last week. This week he was a little coy about whether or not he was concussed. He says he doesn't really know. There were reports last week that he really wasn't concussed. They just needed to get him out of the game because his play was so poor. Came out today that the linemen don't like him. This brother Jason Reed in the DC, I think he might be for ESPN DC or something. He's making his career off of RG3 right now. And it's almost, at times, it seems a little personal. But he put out the story today that the offensive linemen don't like RG3. I mean, what are we talking about? They had 200 days to fix this, or to try to repair things, to try to mend fences. It's just so much. It's just so many shenanigans and just bull. I mean, at some point in time, it just seems like the ownership would say, hey, it's 53 men on this roster, 53 or 55 or whatever it is. I have to respect those men and address this QB situation once and for all in a professional manner. But we're just seeing like some high school BS. And my thing is, what does Snyder even know about football? Don't get me wrong, I know more Willies and Joes stuff than X's and O's. But as a businessman, what unit of his business, or his portfolio, what area does he let lag this bad and he doesn't want to know a root cause of what's going on? I mean, you bring in, over the offseason, you bring in a defensive coordinator, and on his resume is he was at the helm of an 0-16 defensive unit, of a unit that went 0-16. It seems like you go down the checklist, you're like, oh, you were here, you were there, you spent 3 years in Detroit, you were a linebacker coach here, you did this. Oh, hey, in Detroit, your squad was 0-16. You ask the person that brought you this name, why are you bringing me this guy's name? And then you make a decision. You probably go in another direction. Then we get this head coach, Jay Gruden. I'm here in Dayton, Ohio, 60 minutes up the road from Paul Brown Stadium. Now, I'm sorry. I know he was paired up with Andy Dalton, who is another maligned QB. But you host 2 wild card games. In one of these 3 wild card games, you play the backup to the backup. The kid from the quarterback that played in North Carolina. I don't think it's Thigpen. But you lost to a third string QB. This is a team that was winning the AFC North, beating the likes of the Ravens and the Steelers for the division crown. And this offensive coordinator maybe scored 1 touchdown, directed his unit to 1 touchdown in these 3 games. And that's who you go and make the head coach. After 3 years to the wild card. I mean, if you can't win the wild card game, you just a step away from being in the upper echelon of the draft. But that's the head coach. Then we get a head coach who is more pass friendly than running the ball. And we're going to, I guess he's some variation of the West Coast offense. Then you're going to take him and put him in charge of your mobile quarterback who ran the spread offense in college, largely succeeded in his first year in the NFL with the zone read, or But now he's coming off this knee injury. I forgot about this ACL issue. And now we're going to try to make him into a pocket passer. I mean, you couldn't have an episode on Ballers that the organization looks this bad. Now, we don't even have to go into the debacle that was Haynesworth and back to the Deion, Bruce Smith, and all the free agents that we've chased throughout the years. I thought we were past that, and I'm gonna get ready to move on because you already know all of this stuff. But the president, I think it's Paul Allen, somewhere in the middle of all of this, he's not being held accountable for anything. And he's the one that brought in Jay Gruden. Now, the best thing that we've done is we've brought in McLuhan, who has a nice track record and who made some nice moves. But I'll just say that I really felt like all along, all we needed to do was let some chemistry develop on the defensive side. I mean, bringing in Gillette was kind of the cherry on the top on the defensive plans. But all we had to do was hope for this unit to get to a top 15 unit. Run the ball. Play, solid defense, the field position game, let some things go our way, and maybe we could go 6-10, 7-9, maybe even creep up to 8-8. But that's not going to happen. Now, this game against the Lions, and I'm getting ready to move on to my interview. But my point is this. I didn't watch the game. I don't watch a lot of preseason. But I thought I saw 8 dropbacks, 5 hurries, and 3 sacks. So do you mean to tell me that in this preseason game, we ran the ball 1 time and attempted 8 passes? Now I'm getting pissed off because I know that you want RG3 to get the